פה דוברי עברית, שאנחנו נעשה את השיחה בעברית, ואחר כך, אם אתה תרצה, אני אעשה את ההקלטה הזאת, יש לי איכות אינטרנט מעולה.
I see Almudena from Spain, so we should make the meeting in English.
Hello.
Hello.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we hear you.
And can you see? Now. Can you see me?
Yes, we
yes.
Can.
How are you?
Fine. And you?
Very good.
Ladies and gentlemen, let me ask you to mute your microphones. And Dina.
לא, רגע, מה עשיתי? רגע, עשיתי לך מיוט בטעות. יונתן, תעשה לעצמך מיוט בבקשה.
אני כבר עשיתי מיוט.
אני תכף תצטרך לעשות עוד פעם, כי אני עושה מיוט אול.
אוקיי. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for coming, and let me open our meeting. This is a second meeting of GetGuide, and let me ask you to mute your microphones, and we'll start. Actually, let me introduce the company. Probably some of you people know the operation of GetGuide in Israel, but anyway, let me tell again that our goal is one of our goals. Please keep your microphones on mute mode. One of our goals is to allow tour guides and tour leaders from all over the world to create the networking and to meet more tour agents and more colleagues. And another meeting is actually we want to create a kind of social network of tour guides and tour leaders in different countries, and actually to provide them more options and to open more horizons. And this meeting, we invited you to take part in it. Is a second one in the serial of meetings we will manage. Every week on Tuesday, we'll meet. We'll provide the option for tour guides and tour leaders from different countries to meet and to listen. The idea of such meetings is to open more horizons and to provide, in this challenging period, more options for cooperation, potential cooperations. Meanwhile, we have too much free time to make new things and to think about new ideas. And let me share with you wait a second. Okay, let me introduce you very fast the management of the company. Yossi Shinhav is a very experienced tour guide and the tour leader. Yossi, please make hello. Okay, he's probably Yossi. Okay, he doesn't hear us. Dina Lahav dealing with our outgoing department and with the tour leaders and tour operators of outgoing segment. And
hello everyone, that's me.
Yeah, okay. And Nominir, she was a general manager of School of Tourism in Tel Aviv for many years, and she is an extremely experienced tour guide, tour guide for abroad. And she's advisor in our company. And we invited a few colleagues from abroad, and I have already seen Mrs. Almudena Senserado from Spain. Almudena, do you hear us? Just to give give us the sign. Svetlana Ivanova, the chairman of Tour Guide Society of St. Petersburg. I don't know. I don't see all the list, so I don't know whether she with us. Michael Shamshidov from Uzbekistan, Vlad Karyagin, tour operator from Latvia, Gila Zohar, by the way, the general manager of School of Tourism in Wingate, and a few tour guides from different countries who were invited just to take part in our meeting and to prepare themselves for next meetings. And our speaker today, we have only one speaker, Mr. Nadav Gablinger, whom I know personally, and many people knows him. And actually, he will take the microphone just to introduce you, to give you any taste of traveling to Germany. And the last sentence, let me tell that actually we invite part of people invited here. They are not professionals in tour leading, and we want to give them the option to see this, to see themselves, to find themselves in this field. And if you have questions, please don't hesitate to write in our chat, and Dina and me will answer. And now, Nadav, please open your microphone.
Hi, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, so thank you, Jonathan, for introducing me. First of all, apologize. Our local internet is not working, so I have to use my telephone internet. Hopefully that will work for us. A little bit about myself. I've been in Berlin, living in Berlin for the last 20 years, almost 20 years, since 2001. My family came to Berlin around 1650. A long story, but this is not the issue right now. So I came to Berlin to write my PhD, and things happen, and I actually established a tour company. We do different things, tour for private people, FITs, for groups, incentive. We're very proud of our genealogical research for people who are looking for roots of their family, as well as other services, not only in Berlin, but in other parts of Germany. I try to concentrate on places that I can actually reach. So since I live in Berlin, if there is a crisis, I can reach. So I don't actually spread all over Germany, only in places I can reach in about an hour and a half. And right now it's Berlin, Hamburg, and the rest of North and East Germany. By the way, that's my website, my Hebrew Royals website. There is also English and German one. Jonathan, can we please go to the next? Thank you. So few questions maybe before you decide if you want to bring your group to Germany. So why Germany? You can find many things to do for tourists in Germany, not only for people who are looking for shopping, people looking for going to amusement park, people who are interested in history. So there is, for every traveler, there is something to do here. So not people who are interested in modern things, the car industry, for example, and people who are looking for historical issues. For example, the Second World War time or the Cold War time. Infrastructure, I think you can all agree with me that the infrastructure in Germany is excellent, not only the famous highways, but also other things. Usually the internet is working. Today it's something happened in my neighborhood and the internet is not working. But also infrastructure for tourists, excellent hotels, trains that I strongly recommend to use. And I will get into it in the next chapter, which is what is new in Berlin. And the main thing is the new airport. This is the main thing that is going to open in a couple of days. After a long time, so they started to build the airport in 1998, and things happened. Maybe some of you know the story, but the new airport will be open. It's supposed to be not only, it's supposed to be one of the biggest airport, eventually one of the biggest airports in Europe, a hub for many companies. So Lufthansa were supposed to move part of their hub from Frankfurt and from Munich to Berlin. We don't know if it's probably not going to happen in the next couple of years. But for companies like EasyJet, they're going to use this as a hub. So people are going to make stopover, so make connections from Berlin. This is one big thing that changed in Berlin in the last year since the crisis started. Other thing is something that is also very important. There are more and more streets in Berlin that are not accessible for cars. And eventually they want to close the main street of Berlin, Unter den Linden, for cars. That will include also buses. So if you know Friedrichstraße, for example, Friedrichstraße, one of the main street of East Berlin, is closed right now. Part of it is closed right now for cars. Only pedestrians and bicycles are allowed in this street right now. A new subway line will be open in the end of December, and that will also mean that again, this is part of the idea that the plan that no cars will enter the center of the city. Jonathan, next. Thank you. Hello? Yes, thank you. So if you decided to come to Germany, there are a few things you should know. Not all countries, those of you are coming from Israel, you don't need a visa, but people are coming from Russia, from the Philippines. I would advise that you make sure that you have an entrance visa to Germany. If you are planning on working here, that's another issue. You have to have a working permit. Money, currency. I was surprised to hear from American tourists that I had that they were surprised that in different countries, so that they don't accept dollars in Germany. And they were a bit confused about the fact that if you go to the Czech Republic, you have to use one currency. If you go to Poland, you use other currency. If you come to Germany, use other currency. And the main problem is if your tour is going through more than one country. So if you start your tour in the Czech Republic, or if you start your tour in Poland, once you enter Germany, then the tourist must have the local currency. And so the euro, as we call it here, and the problem that that could happen is that you go to a place, so after you cross the border, you want to eat something, you want to buy something, and they will not accept credit cards. So it's changing. One good thing that happened with the COVID-19 is that more and more businesses in Germany accept credit cards, but not still. Most restaurants, for example, they will not accept credit cards. They will still use cash. So if you come into Germany, at least the tour leader should have some euros on him, with him, and one of the first stops will be to go to an exchange. Work regulations. First of all, if we discussed this last time, once if you come to Germany to work, then you must have a work permit, and especially if you sell something. So it's and if once you cross the border into Germany, if you come from the Czech Republic, if you come from Poland, if you come from France or other countries, if you use a coach from that country, if the bus driver is from that country, the laws, the work regulations of Germany applies to him. That means that he must be paid according to the German minimum salary. He must have the regulations regarding the times, the hours that he can work. So we cannot work for 12, 14 hours. That's not possible. In Germany, he must stop for rest, and they check it. It happened to me more than once when I used the buses from outside Germany, that the police stopped us. They did. I must say that they did not check the guide, if the guide had the work permit, but they did check the bus driver, and they took his all his records, the tachometer, and they checked that he's driving according to the regulations. And it happened to me that they actually made us stop. They made us stop because we were going for too much time, and the driver had to have a break. So that's about the work regulations. In Germany, public holidays, 16 states, there are 16 states in Germany. Each state has its own public holidays. So of course, holidays like 1st of May or Christmas are all places in Germany are the same, but other holidays, for example, in Berlin, in March, we have Women's Day. We have one day, public holiday, which is unique to Berlin. It does not apply to other states in Germany. People are sometimes surprised when they enter Germany to see that things are closed. It's not something that a festival that they know, and it's not a holiday that they know. Regarding that, almost all year long, the shops are closed on Sunday. So if you enter Germany on Sunday, you might have a problem finding a shop that is open. For example, in Berlin, Sundays, there are only 5 open supermarkets. Point number 5 is distances. Germany is big. Traveling, for example, from Berlin to Munich, it could take approximately 8 hours. You must stop on the way. Of course, a bus driver cannot drive for such a long time. This is one of the things that, this is one of the reasons why I don't actually deal with places like Munich, because if something happens there, I cannot just take a train. If I take a train from Berlin to Hamburg, it could take me an hour and a half, but to Munich, it's a bit problematic, and you should be aware that of the distances, not only inside Germany, but also the distances inside the cities. So cities like Berlin and Hamburg, they are huge. Berlin is about the size of London. Trying to cross the center of the city in rush hour could basically finish your tour, finish all the time of your tour. If you go from so you have to actually plan your tour according to the rush hour, and there is more and more cars in Berlin. Berlin is growing very fast. So when I first came to Berlin, 2001, there were 2.9 million people living in Berlin. Right now, there are almost 4 million people in Berlin, and more cars are in Berlin, and more restrictions on cars, on vehicles. So they are trying to convince people to use a bicycle, so the bicycle lanes are bigger, the streets are smaller. So this is something that you should take into consideration. Language. So if you're in the big cities, they will most tourist attractions, most services, they can speak English, but even if you can actually try and talk with them in English, even if they don't understand. Many Germans are afraid to use their English. Especially those who were born in East Germany, some of them, this is not their second or third language. When you go outside the big cities, then you can find it a bit problematic actually connecting with locals if you don't speak any German. But again, inside the big cities, and if we're talking about young people, then that should not be a problem. Yes, next, please. So every group is different, and I think it's important to not to go with one plan for all groups, and this is the point where I think myself or another local guide or an expert that you can trust can help you to adjust your itinerary to your group. So some groups are more interested in one topic, other groups are interested in other topics. So if you look at the picture right now that is in the bottom of the presentation, you can actually see myself in a tour that and next to me, those the Israelis probably recognize. His name is Dodo Widstom. He was in the Israeli television for many years, and this is a group for opera lovers. So we go in different places in Germany, and the main topic is the opera or classical music. Mr. Widstom is actually talking about the music, about the connection of the place to the music connection, and I will talk more about the historical sites. And of course, they will tell me what is the main interest, and I will try to adjust the route to their interest. So why to use my services? Basically because I'm the best, as Jonathan knows. You can check in TripAdvisor, in Hall of Fame, and everything, and also other sites. I'm very flexible. I can actually. I can lead many groups, not only intellectual groups, but other groups as well. And I can also help you or whoever you're sending to North and East Germany to adjust the tour to your requirements. Time limit. Time limit, not only about the presentation has a time limit, also guides have a time limit in Germany. So most tours, so normally our normal tour lasts between 3 to 5 hours. I know that, so the same thing, by the way, the time limitations go to other providers, like buses and other people that are supposed to be with you for limited time, so you have to understand that. And if I stay more than 5 hours with if they want me to stay with the group for more than 5 hours, then I see myself not as a tour guide who comes, give his tour and go back home, but actually part of the operation itself. So helping the tour operator, which is very important for me before actually the tour takes place, to talk when before the group comes to Germany, and preferably really from the first stages of the planning, to understand what is the group and what is the main issues, what is the purpose, if there is a purpose, if we're talking about educational groups who are coming, if there is, if we're coming with investments, real estate investments, what is the target of the tour itself. Next, please. So I just want to show you two examples of tours. One is for, I would call it simple, but not necessarily simple, but simple in the kind of planning the tour, because there is not a lot of, they're not here to actually gain knowledge, or they're here for incentive, they're here for a concert, they came for an event, or things like this. And then we will start with traveling from the airport, from the new airport, again, from the 31st of October. The new airport will be open, the BER. So if you know TXL, Tegel, and if you know Schonefeld, then you can forget about them. From the 8th of November, the last flight will be from Tegel will be on the 8th of November. By the way, it's going to be an Air France flight, since Tegel was in the French sector. The new airport, Willy Brandt, BER, is a bit farther than from Schonefeld, and of course from Tegel. It will take you about 20 minutes, maybe even half an hour, even more. It depends on traffic, of course, but at least you have to calculate it at least 20 minutes before between the time that you enter, if you leave the terminal and you reach the first point of interest. Since it's a long drive, then I would recommend to use the toilets there, but we're not going to get into really small details right now. So I would only we're still on the last. Yes, thank you. Almost there. Almost there, Jonathan. So I will only show in this kind of tour. I will only show two highlights, which is the East Side Gallery, which is basically the Berlin Wall, and the second point of interest will be the Brandenburg Gate. Just a photo opportunity for the people who arrived for this incentive or concert and so on, and then from there to the hotel. So this is really simple, only 2 stops, photo opportunity, and then to the hotel. Jonathan, please. Thank you. Then more sophisticated, more people are interested in more, to see more than only taking a few pictures of the Brandenburg Gate. Of course, we'll start with the new airport, BER. Just a few places, for example, Treptow Park. So those of you who come from the former Soviet Union, I think every person who was born in the Soviet Union know this place. It's the biggest mass grave of Soviet soldiers outside the former Soviet Union. Very impressive. If I know that I have a Russian-speaking group, then I will definitely stop there in this place. RAW, that's short for Reichsbahn Ausbesserung Werkstatt. That's a long word. In German, it's basically used to be a train, and today it's places where there are studios, graffiti, and so on. East Side Gallery is the same as the last one. Nikolai Quarter. If you saw my video in the beginning, so behind me was a picture of the Nikolai Quarter. It's Berlin is basically a new city, and this is a remake of the old city of Berlin. For example, if I come with American tourists, I will stop there. If they're looking for a classical German city, that will be the place. And the last stop is another stop example for stop is the Mercedes world. So connecting to if people are interested in cars. One thing about this this example, this itinerary, and the itinerary and the last one is about the hotels. Different countries, in different countries, there are different ways, different times that you can enter hotels. In Berlin, usually it's 3 o'clock. If you have to make sure that you don't come to the hotel before that, because otherwise the rooms will not be ready. And then maybe it will be wise just to make the tour longer, even if the group is not that interested, because they will not be able to enter their rooms. Thank you. If you have more questions, of course, now we have limited time. If you have more questions, I will be happy to answer. My email is info@tours-berlin.com. You can also visit my Facebook, Nadav Berlin Tours in Facebook, or call me, preferably text me via WhatsApp. And if you don't see that, then you can also always contact Jonathan, who has my details. Before we open to questions, last picture here. Actually, it's a collage. Different kind of groups. On the upper right side of your screen is a workplace. If I'm not mistaken, it was the Israeli aircraft industry who came to Berlin. Part of the deal was also to have some kind of education with them. On the upper left side of the corner, those of you who know Anatoly Natan Sharansky, well, I actually found a tourist who is actually shorter than me. And this was part when I led the group of the UJA Prime Minister mission, so like a VIP group here in Berlin. Lower left side of the screen is the memorial to the concentration camp of Sachsenhausen. This was part of an educational group who came to study more about the Holocaust and how Germans deal with the Holocaust. Lower right side was FIT, a private tour that was the former Israeli national coach that I guided. And in the center was just a fun tour. And they actually told me to stand and keep an eye on their bags while they were shopping at the Primark. So it was more like a fun tour. Yeah, thank you very much. And now if you have any questions, I'm...
Okay, thank you, Nadav. And now this is really the time for questions. And please, who want to ask Nadav? If you want us ask him, please open your microphone.
Jonathan, what Jewish sites would you recommend?
Nadav, actually, it's a question to you. What Jewish sites would you recommend in Berlin?
First of all, there is no end to the Jewish sites in Berlin. It depends if this is the first time. I really try. Of course, the Holocaust is very important, but also to talk about what happened in Germany before the Holocaust. So the Enlightenment movement, Moses Mendelssohn, Hildesheimer, modern Orthodox Judaism, and of course, the Holocaust is important. You cannot just skip it, but and also to talk a little bit about what is happening today in Germany. So that's from the historical perspective, but sites, there's the so-called Jewish Quarter, the courtyards area where Jews from Eastern Europe live. This is also the kind of old city of Berlin. And the places like the new synagogue, which is very impressive with the golden dome. And another site is the platform 17, which is the main memorial of the train company, which is also very impressive. If there are big groups, then there is a lot of space to do ceremonies in that place. But again, in every corner in Berlin, you cannot walk more than 5 minutes in Berlin without seeing something that has to do with memorials. If we're talking the big memorial to the murdered Jews of Europe, the so-called Holocaust memorial. If you're talking about places like Bebelplatz, the book burning square, and stumbling stones, the Stolpersteine, in every corner in Berlin. There are memorials, but the main places will be the area of the courtyards, with the place of the old synagogue, the place of the new synagogue, and that is if I have only 2 or 3 hours with the group, then I will go to that area, to the courtyards area, the Hacker Markt. Have I answered your question?
Yes, thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, Nadav, I also have a question. As a tour guide here in Israel, of course, I never really thought about taking groups from Israel to Germany. But of course, due to the current situation, you know, everybody is trying to look into different directions. Now, I'm as a German, so of course, German is not a problem for me because it's my mother tongue. And I have a German passport, so being in Germany and working in Germany wouldn't be the problem. But I'm asking myself, with groups you are working, are you working with the Israeli companies? Or for me as a tour guide, I don't really know, where to start. Like, is it are you working with people who are organizing their own groups, or they are working with Israeli companies and taking Israeli or German-speaking guide with them to Germany? This is a totally new area for me, so that's why I'm asking. Or maybe do you have any ideas where to start?
Oh, it's a bit complicated.
I also lived in Berlin for many years. Like before I came to Israel, like 23 years ago, I was there when the wall came down, and so I also quite familiar with Berlin. So that also might help, of course.
So I have groups from all over the world, from India, from China, from the US, from all over, really. Most groups coming to Berlin, to Germany, they come with a tour leader, which is not the guide. So they separate the two issues of the tour guide and the tour leader, which for me is very convenient because it is leave me enough time to concentrate on the tourists and not on the operational things. And especially if you have older people, if you have groups with who are older, things can happen, or with the youth, of course. You deal with things that are not only concentrate on the you have to have someone who is actually concentrating on the operation itself. I know that from Israel, many groups, they come with the same person is the tour leader and the tour guide. And then they contact me if there is a problem, if for some reason the guy is sick or something like this happens, then they contact me. What you have contact with people who are not necessarily Israeli. So you're talking about groups who are coming from Israel to Germany. But many of you might know groups who are not from Germany. So I have guides, Israeli guides, who actually organize groups for American tourists in Berlin. So they know those people, they know those groups from a certain synagogue or so on. And then they come, then they bring them as the tour operator to Berlin, and they hire me as their tour guide here. One more thing is that you probably know that, but most of the tourists in Berlin and in Germany are German. So 2/3 of all the tourists in Berlin, so today it's maybe 90%, but I mean, we're talking average, more 2/3 of the tourists in Berlin are Germans, and the focus of the German tourist industry is on local tourists and not on foreign tourists. So you can go to museums, even today, there are museums in Berlin or restaurants that they don't have any menu in English. So everything will be in German. And that is, yeah, that is changing. It is changing, but it's still happening.
Yeah.
Answer the question?
More or less, it's quite a new area for me, so probably it will take some time to.
Well, we're now all entering
But
new
maybe I
areas.
will be in touch with you privately. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So Nadav, I would like to add to this question actually. What if a tour guide has his own group, but he wants to do the guiding himself? Can you help with the operation part of the tour?
I prefer not to. If it's someone that I know, if it's a big crisis and something happened, then of course I will try to help. But my passion, I'm a tour guide. I'm in this business because I love guiding. And if I rent buses, if I help with other things, with restaurants, with attractions, it's someone is talking. Someone's microphone is open. If I'm, thank you. If I'm, so I would prefer to concentrate to do that if it's connected with actually guiding and not as separately. Actually, I would prefer to guide if I know that most of the profit comes from things like hotels and so on. I would prefer to leave it to the tour operator. This is where he makes his profit, and to concentrate in what I know I think I'm very good, and that is guiding. So, but if there is a crisis, if there is a problem, I can help. But again, if this is the only thing, then there are better places to go.
Okay, thank you. But actually, you can, if somebody needs your assistance in creating of a tour, somebody who is new in this area, I guess you can provide the at least in general,
Of course,
general information to support, etc.
Of course, if there is a need to build a program, to build the itinerary, I will be more than happy.
And yeah, and another question I have about marketing. If, for example, I would like to promote to my local auditory, my local tourists from Israel, if I want to organize a group to Berlin, all of them are first comers. Nobody was in Berlin with a guided tour. What what idea, what the main idea, what marketing idea, what should I promote? I mean, experience. What kind of experience people have in traveling to Berlin?
It really depends on the group. It really depends if it's like people or not. It's not if there is a topic. If there is a topic for the group, like for I mentioned before, the opera lovers. If it's about cars, if it's about football, and so on. So it really depends on the on what kind of group is it, and to adjust. It's important, I think, to adjust the tour to the group, and not to force someone to go to a place that there's no interest in.
Mm-hmm. Oh, okay. Yes, Nomi, please unmute your microphone.
אוקיי, אני מבינה שנמצאים פה אנשים שהם כבר, שומעים אותי?
Yes, but there are few guests from
forgot myself. The people that hear the audience, I mean, are mixed people. Some of them, they are tour guide that already making the guiding abroad. Some of them are only tour guide licensed tour guide in Israel. We have Dina, that she is a travel agent. She can make everything. As I understand, Nadav is a local guide. Local guide in Berlin, as far as I know, is not compulsory. Am I right, Nadav? Yes.
There are places which you need a license.
Like
you
museum.
Museums, memorials, you need, but generally you don't need the license. Everyone can guide in Berlin. There is no need for a license. There is only a need for a work permit. That's it.
Okay. So people that sit here and they are not already professional tour guide abroad, they're supposed to know that there is a big difference between someone that organized 10 people and they come to you and you take them to walk. Between people that have a group of 30, 40 people that the agency organize it. So I believe that we don't need to talk to you, but we need to talk between us about all these little nuance that making the tour, because every small nuance uprising the price. And people after the COVID, they will not have enough money. So if you take only 10 people, they organize the hotel and the flight and they take you, it's okay. If you take a group of 30 people and you put the cost of your guiding on it, so it's make it very expensive. So I don't think we need you to answer this question, but we have to deal with it between us.
We don't know what will happen.
Yeah, we don't know. We just think we don't know.
Yeah, we'll see. Maybe it will not be possible. I don't know. Again, we're guessing if it will be again possible to go with a group of 30, 40 people.
As far as I know,
people.
Yeah, as far as I know, by the Emirates, we're supposed to limit the groups to 24, for example, up to date. You understand me?
Yeah, I can get it.
I said
it's warmer there.
So I believe the groups will be small. Will be smaller.
I agree with you.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll have to make adjustments. We'll see. We'll have to wait and see what will happen. And yeah.
I will take your details to the. We have a big group of the tour guides, and we have the names and the address and all details of all the Israeli who are making guiding abroad. So I will put your name and I will recommend them to talk with you, to take you if they need. Sometimes somebody come to Berlin and he never guided Berlin, so it's better for him to take you for the first time.
Yeah, sometimes I must say I was with the guides, with Israeli guides, and I was just basically sitting next to the driver, basically telling the driver where to drive. They show me the itinerary, and basically this is what that thing that I've done. Or this is something that so I've been representing GetGuide for a long time here in Berlin. Maybe Jonathan can remind me how much time. But for example, you know, if the tour guide comes from it doesn't matter, for example from Israel, and something happened to him, he broke his leg, he doesn't feel good, and you cannot just tell the group, okay, today there is no tour because the tour guide doesn't feel good, and then you're not going to bring someone from abroad to guide for that. So it happened to me that a few times I had to guide only for a day, a group. But again, it's very, very important. We spoke about it last time. It is very, very important that the local guide will actually talk before with the tour guide, with the tour leader, to understand what is
exactly
the group. Because if I'm going to go into a group and I'm going to contradict something that the other tour guide said, that could be problematic. Yes,
for sure. So I will put your details. So all our guides who guide in Germany will have your details.
Okay, thank you very much, Nadav. I think it was good enough. I would suggest to release Nadav and to thank him again. And I would ask you to stay for a couple of minutes just to discuss the presentation. And probably it's very important, your feedback regarding what, because this for us it's also quite new format, and we are looking for the best format of presentation, and what was missed and what was unnecessary in Nadav's presentation. And Nadav, please, may I ask you to leave us?
Thank you very much. Toda rabba.
Bye.
Sorry.
Bye.
Okay,
bye.
Thank you, Nadav.
Bye.
Our colleague, I would like to ask our colleagues to give your feedback.
One moment, Jonathan, please. Jonathan, please. We are reminding you that next week we have another meeting in our serial. Yeah. So we are actually looking forward to see you also next week, same hour, same day. Okay. So thank you, Nadav. Thank you so much. It was excellent. Thank you so much.
Okay, Yossi, would you like to finish the session? Or
first of all, we are having those meetings. Actually, our target is to connect more people together, guides, tour agents.
Understand.
We want to make it what we have, what we need to know. But next week we are going to have another meeting with, I think this time will be in Russia, in St. Petersburg. It's another destination.
From Baltic countries. Next in the week we have tour guides and a tour operator from Baltic countries.
I lost you. What did you say?
Again, if somebody have some not questions but comments to the format of Nadav, what was missed, what was too unnecessary, what should we take next meetings, and what should we leave behind us? Okay, so
one comment from my side. I liked of Nadav's presentation very much the legal aspects, like driving hours, working permit, and so on, because people who don't have a European passport can't obviously not work without an advanced working permit in Germany. So people have to know that. I think that is very important to present legal aspects or language issues. So I found this format better than the previous one, from my point of view.
So you mean that, Uschi, you mean that this part of his presentation was necessary, was crucial?
Yeah, and in my opinion, yes, and it should be included in for the other countries as well, so that people know what bureaucratic steps I have to consider.
Mm-hmm. The question to all of no, wait a second. The question to all of you: would you like to see more presenters, more people? Not one presenter, but 2 or 3 different tour guides. When each one speaks about his particular part. The question: what would you say?
I think this would be interesting, Jonathan, because probably it's more, it's a little bit like moving from one to one, and it's more, it has been really interesting.
Okay.
Yeah. But I really think it would be okay for 2 or 3 people.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Thank you, Almudena. It was our guest from Spain, Almudena Sincerado. More question? If no one have question, Nomi, please. You wanted to ask something. Wait.
Just a small remark about the law. Europe still exists, like all the law about driving time. Every policeman can stop you in Germany, in Czech, in Vienna, and to ask you to show the paper of the bus and to check if you are okay with the law or not okay with the law. It's not specific to Germany, to Berlin.
Mm-hmm. Okay, Claude, please, you wanted to ask something.
Yes, do you hear me now?
Yes, we hear you.
Fine. You asked question before for doing maybe something better for the guides. I'm a tour guide in Israel. I never did a tour outside of Israel, but I would be very interesting if there are a lot of local guides to know them a little bit. And if they could join our forum here, it would be very interesting, and already as a first contact we would have done in such a way. That's what I think. And maybe also to give us a little bit tips. Are there specific restaurants to go with the people, or do I have? Are we let them free to do what they want, and we are giving them a special time to come back? It's a practical way if we're going to visit Germany.
Mm-hmm.
Good evening, Claude. Nice to see you again.
Okay, probably we can ask, if we have your questions prior to the meeting, we can forward the question to the presenter, to the tour guides, and they will prepare, the list of recommended businesses, restaurants, etc.
Claude, can I just ask, Claude, do you think it will be a different answer in each destination when you're saying let them walk for free and so on, or you're talking about something which is more general because you never took a group outside of Israel?
Yes, I think it's more general because I never did it outside of Israel. But maybe I'm interested also to know what is used to be done outside of Israel with a group, with an Israeli group. And
if we have
also to take care, I'm sure that there are people who are eating just kosher and so on. If there is something organized for them.
So what you're looking for is actually something like a, I don't know, workshop or a session on a general knowledge about tour guiding outside of Israel?
Practical knowledge of Israeli guides that did already this trip.
Okay, and the other point,
joining them once for the first time and to see how what are the routes and how is what are the sites which are the most important for the Israeli tourists, and the second time to do it by myself.
Okay, and the first thing that you actually said was about meeting a local tourist guide. Did you mean, again, in Germany, for instance, local tourist guide, or for instance, right now on this Zoom session, we have other guides from other countries right now. So
yes, I've been on the forum. For example, I know Yossi Shenhav very well because I went with him in Greece in a tour. So to know them and to speak to them, and to know their faces already, and that I am not like someone that is looking and for the guide for this town or this area and so on. I think it will be interesting and important.
Okay, so you meant local guides from your country?
No, local guide from the country that I'm going with the Israelis. I mean, the subject is Germany. I suppose that we are not just doing Berlin, but also Hamburg, also Düsseldorf, I don't know. But all those local guides that are at that place and that usually take Israeli groups. That's what I want.
Okay, so like Nadav, but in other places as well.
Yeah, I didn't understand you.
Like Nadav from this session, like Nadav in other.
Yes. For example, yes.
Let me ask you last question, which will be very interesting to me. The business, a commission, because would you like to hear more about optionals, about commission, whether you can make money with your group, or it's something that is, I would say, not so important for this forum?
Are you asking me?
Claude, I ask you and everyone. But if somebody wants to answer, it is very interesting for me because I would like to hear how much money I can make. Nomi, please.
As I can compare the work in Israel to the work outside of Israel, the commission in Israel, all the arrangement around the commission are better than the same in abroad. I don't remember last time I got some commission. Oh yeah, I remember in Innsbruck I got some 100 euro. It's not like in Israel. Not the same, don't wait for the same. You have to check for your salary, for the tip, the end of the tour, but the commission is not, and sometimes the program is so heavy, and if you take the group to the places that you get commission, it's not the same.
Okay.
Sorry.
Yeah, it is okay, but I believe
this is the situation.
Yeah. Oh, okay. More questions? If there is no more questions, I would like to thank you everyone for coming and spending time with us. In a week period, of course, we'll stay with our colleagues, and we'll we consider this presentation, and we'll try to make it better and better. Let me promote you our next meeting in 1 week period with the three tour guides from 3 different countries, Baltic countries, from Estonia, Latvia, and Lithuania, and a tour operator with one of the biggest one in the area. And I hope it will be interesting and very informative. Thank you very much to everyone, and Almudena, thank you especially, and okay, thank you, And I would ask Dina, Nomi, and Yossi to stay on the session, and see you in a week period. Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.
תודה, יונתן. Thank you, Jonathan.
Okay, תודה רבה, להתראות.
אתה יכול להפסיק את ההקלטה.
נכון, תודה.
אני רוצה אותה, אבל אחר כך אני רוצה...